This house is built using an unusual frameless technology and is made up of about 90% lightweight extruded polystyrene foam. Perhaps this is a breakthrough in affordable construction that will help us, post-Soviet people, close the gap in residential and non-residential square meters per capita that has arisen between us and the so-called civilized world. Surely now the golden billion won't remain golden for long. The world is in for big changes. The dreams of summer residents and those in private homes, cities, suburbs, villages, and rural areas for ultra-cheap construction may soon come true rapidly. This video is very useful. The house walls consist of extruded polystyrene foam plastered on both sides with reinforcing fiberglass mesh. The wall thickness is 5 centimeters of extruded polystyrene foam plus thin plaster layers just a few millimeters thick on both the outside and inside. So the total thickness is no more than 6 centimeters. Since extruded polystyrene foam is a very effective insulator, this should be enough to meet the requirements for the building. No additional insulation is needed. This method is more efficient than frame construction, more advanced than using blocks or bricks, lighter than monolithic construction, and more energy efficient than log buildings. You can apply a huge variety of homemade, inexpensive, yet beautiful and reliable decorative finishes to walls made from this material, finishes that even world-class decorators would envy. These houses can be built without any construction skills, even by women and children. There is no frame at all. Only a small amount of wood is used for the roof rafters, along with extruded polystyrene foam for the roof. The house measures 6 by 6 meters. To this day, this remains the largest and best-known structure I know built with this method. It was built by Denis and Irina, a family from St. Petersburg. They are friends of the channel Pesny Yashikosiaka, on a plot of land in the Pskov region. They plan to gradually move here from the noisy metropolis. My friends are not aiming for the stars. That's why they hope that using ultra-cheap and efficient technologies will help their dream come true. Last year, I already visited the guys and made a video about this house. The video sparked a flood of comments with many questions. The main one being whether a structure like this can really withstand heavy snow loads, typical for the Midland and more northern latitudes. Winter is ending, making it a great time to learn everything. Let's go through it step by step. Hello everyone. I'm taking a break from another construction project using plastered Penoplex, which, thanks to the efficiency of the method, can be carried out in a small garage even during the cold season. And early in the morning, I leave my Gomel district heading across all of Belarus going northwest. Here in Gomel, it seems like spring has already arrived. There's almost no snow. In the more northern Mogilev region, there's a bit more snow. Here I meet my friend Konstantin from the Batina Usadba channel. He came here from his village in the Minsk region, driven by the same forces of curiosity and exploration as I am.
Hello, my friend. Hello, hello. Innovations in the car, heating.
Konstantin, just like yours truly, loves innovations. This is clearly demonstrated by the modernization of the heating system in the old Toyota. There's even more snow in the Vitebsk region. So much that getting to the gazebo where we had a snack during our last trip is impossible this time. The parking lot hasn't been cleared. We crossed the Belarusian-Russian border and here we are on Pskov land. We turn off the highway and drive along a snowy road between piles of snow, winding through picturesque places. We're here. Denis and Irina arrived a little earlier. Irina was visiting a neighbor and Denis was waiting for us. Hi.
Hi, good to see you.
The journey from St. Petersburg wasn't without adventure. The fact that the road from the northern capital was tough is clear from the marks on the friend's vehicle. For more than 2 months, the owners hadn't been to their country estate in the village. They waited to approach the extruded polystyrene foam house so they could do it with us and you, viewers of Pesny Yashikoshaka and Batina Usadba. Now we'll all find out together.
Why did I glue them like that? If moisture rises, it goes up. But if you flip the slats down, the moisture will stay there even longer. Well, in bathrooms, everyone installs the slats facing up like this to remove moisture. So I'm not interested in heat, I'm more interested in moisture. At what angle would the rain have to fall like this for water to get in here?
Horizontal rain, haven't you seen it?
This tree is breathing just a little.
It's just the plaster that cracked, right?
It's plaster and paint, yeah?
Looks like we arrived just in time. Later, after the snow melted, many wouldn't have believed there was so much here this winter.
So, there's already half a meter there.
No, you can't dig down to the foundation. By the way, take a look at the paint too. We painted it, it was all smooth here, just like this. And now look at it.
The soil runoff has started.
Yeah, but it's going to keep sliding down until you build a gabion here, like Darevensky Block Knot does. Those gabions made of stones. A grid, metal mesh, and stones are needed. Without a gabion here, everything will keep sliding down. Well, I expected that I'd have to deal with this too. So I'll have to dig out another meter here and another meter there. There, to build all these gabions here. You can't make it just 30 centimeters wide here. It'll collapse. You need to make it at least 50 centimeters long. Well, in height or in width.
The hilly terrain adds to the surrounding beauty, but it makes placing buildings more difficult. Preparing the construction site was a much more labor-intensive task than all the construction work that followed.
Oh yes, here it is.
At the joints, right?
Well, all the moisture that came up is still there. It hasn't evaporated yet. That's why it settled like this. And it just froze. Waterproofing was also done on the problematic wall, as you can see. This area was drawing moisture and had water even before leaving. Look, check this out. This is a self-tapping screw, I thought. What did you think it was? Ice balls? Yeah, I thought so too. It looks just like a ball.
This is a thermal bridge. Do you see it?
Yeah, we found it here.
And this is a self-tapping screw.
Dummy, he made holes. Well, he installed the vents, closed them, and then screwed the board on top. So in the spring, I'll have to unscrew this board and open the vent so the process can start.
Dennis, please tell us, since our last visit, the rafter system has undergone some upgrades, as we can see. There are now horizontal, A-shaped, or, how should I say, crossbars in general. What made you decide to do all this?
Well, first of all, for extra safety, and secondly, people always wrote in the comments that they needed to be done. I just didn't have time to do them before. At the last moment before leaving, what day was it? The 20th. I installed them on December 17th, and we left on the 18th. Yeah, remember we talked about the pressure on the roof? Right at this point, everything, roughly speaking, accumulated. Here are 2 centimeters of screed I poured without mesh. See how much the column pressed down in the center. So there was still some stress on the roof. Apparently it was quite significant. Yeah, just on bare sand. I just leveled the bare sand, poured cement, and smoothed it out with a screed.
If you take it here, chisel it out, and pour something more solid under this post, maybe.
I'm going to lay tile, I'll screw it in here. Like, well, blocks, I'll just jack up this post to the thickness of the tile, put a big, wide tile, porcelain stoneware, 60 by 60, and just lower it onto the tile.
So, will there be a gap? Just like that.
Of course, just like that. Well, I won't do anything with the screed anymore. I'll just go over it with tile adhesive and put large porcelain tiles on top. That's it. I just now realized why these ice formations are all at the same distance. And it turns out these are the screws that freeze through, the ones I used to fasten things. See? So they're from the roof. The screw heads freeze through and go down here. And that's why there's frost here, see? They're all at the joints where I screwed them in, all at the same distance.
Which ones? The ones you used for the roof?
Yeah, the ones I did. Well, my green one.
No, that's the foam board I was fastening, not the roof, the foam board.
Dennis, how did you plaster?
With such a beautiful texture.
A roller.
Walls.
The roller is normal, but we were plastering while it was snowing and freezing, so in some spots, like this. The paint froze a bit. Shrinkage? No, it just froze, that's all. It's holding well. But this is the vinyl one that we used. Vinyl or latex? I mean, of course, if you scrape it with a key.
Vinyl or acrylic?
Latex or vinyl? You have to check the can. Of course, if you scrape it with a key like this.
Then it doesn't get scraped.
No, it will come off. See, it comes off. Hey, because I definitely messed up the application process. We did it in the cold, and that's why it shriveled up.
Dennis, you bragged that you would make the roof out of foam board too. And that's it, nothing else.
Actually, the idea was to plaster it too and just paint it. But since I was running out of time, the snow had already started to fall. There was snow and rain. I had to change my plans. In the next project, I'll try to implement this idea after all, to plaster it over mesh. So the plans changed. So I made the lathing again and covered it with corrugated sheet on top. That was to quickly solve the problem with the snow. I finished the roof on December 8th. There was already snow. Snow was still falling, and I was sweeping it off and fastening the sheets. Because I just physically couldn't finish building in time. I had to do it this way. Of course, I didn't want to. If I just do a simple calculation of how much more I need to buy for this, it just kills me inside. With Penoplex, there's a cheaper option. You just take a regular gray plumbing sewer pipe, cut it in half, and use it. There are standard wall mounts for it. And I can do the same thing here with a gray plastic pipe. So here, I have a gray one. Here, a gray pipe. Gray, so it doesn't stand out. But here, you'll have to buy everything in green and make it. Paint it all green. Green pipes, downspouts, so it all looks more aesthetic. It's faster to throw on the sheets, but it's more expensive. So this option is the most optimal for me. It's fast, cheap, and again, for the next project, I want to try applying plaster with bitumen mastic, then go over it and make this roofing. Basically to glue it on bitumen mastic, using nails, by the way.
You want to do it on the roof?
Yes. What happened to the foundation?
Why did it black?
Last time it was the natural color of the mortar, but now it's black.
Well, I applied waterproofing. I always find the simplest way. So at my DACA, someone threw away some cold applied bitumen mastic. I don't know why it's called that. It's called cold applied bitumen mastic. They threw out 4 big buckets in the trash. My neighbor picked them up and brought them over. He asked me, "Do you need it?" Again, it was basically free. The bitumen mastic turned out to be free, and we applied it here. We treated the foundation, dried it with torches, and applied it right away so it would be warm. By the way, this right here. When we were painting with paint, it was snowing and water was running down.
The house was built in harsh conditions.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was snowing. We were painting the wall, painting and applying waterproofing. Everything was done in the snow, in the rain.
Dennis, tell us about your plans for the future.
If we're talking about this structure, I'll still be leveling the ground here. Here in the corner, I'll bury a 1.5 ton ring that is 1.5 meters in diameter and holds 1.5 tons of waters. I'll be making a water collection system so that I have a technical well here. So my next project will be a bathhouse, also 6 by 6 meters, and I'll use 50mm extruded polystyrene foam in the bathhouse as well. It will be located where the toilet is now, closer to the toilet, right in this low area. That's where the bathhouse will be. Maybe if I have time, I also want to build a swimming pool, so that we can use both the swimming pool and the bathhouse.
This is all made from extruded polystyrene foam?
Yes, the roofs there will be done differently. I mean, technically speaking, the foundation will also be made differently. That is, it will be higher, filled in. So, considering your experience today, will you change everything? Yes, there will be sloped floors, the bathhouse. I mean, we'll also have a sewage system, water supply, and everything else. But there, I'll be hiding the pipes. I'll be hiding the pipes and wires in extruded polystyrene foam. Everything will be concealed. I'll use it there.
But you'll probably keep the main technique you used here, right?
Yes.
Despite the last days of the calendar winter, there's still a lot of snow here. Because of the recent thaws, it's quite heavy. Friends, let me give a small warning for those who decide to try this themselves. The owners who are building this project themselves are well aware that they're taking a risk. They're prepared for the possibility of losses due to the novelty and lack of thorough testing of the method. If this project is successfully completed, they want to try building a sauna and an even bigger, more solid house using the same technology. Now we'll find out how quickly a comfortable living temperature can be reached in a house that's been completely cooled down over the winter months. Will it even warm up? The stove is small, the damper was closed, and ice and snow blocked the chimney. But the gas burner works wonders. How long ago did we light it? About 20 minutes ago. 23.
It's already 6 degrees. The thermometer is in the far corner of the house, away from the stove.
While the building is warming up, let's move to the first structure that the guys built using the same method. For us, the Eastern Slavs, settling new lands usually begins with such structures. And I think that toilets built using this method can be called Euro toilets, because the technology for producing extruded polystyrene foam and the plaster mix for it was brought to our region from America and Europe. Getting our hands on these materials seems to have opened Pandora's box. Now we can't be stopped.
Damn, there's ice here.
It shields the roof from moisture.
I don't remember about this film. I didn't talk about it. I also found it for free. Basically, people threw it away in the trash. There were rolls of 100 meters each. They threw away 5 rolls. The drawings are different. At first, I thought I would use this film for something, but it turned out to be self-adhesive film for shop windows and stained glass. So I used it, and it costs. Back then, I checked. A 10-meter roll was about 5,000. So basically, people threw away a lot of film, and now I have about 300 or 400 meters of this film.
So how many toilets like that can you make?
A lot. Where is that dump? Why is there so much stuff lying around in that dump that's worth a huge amount of money?
Listen, I went to that same dump. It's right next to our house. There's a 50-liter canister of Lukoil oil just sitting there. I kicked it like this, and it's full, basically. They poured out 4 liters of oil from the canister, so there are 45 liters of transmission oil left in there. I'm just going to use this oil in my chainsaw for lubricating the chain. 45 liters of oil. Pure oil, no problem. I mean, they throw it out all the time.
And it's all for you alone. Dennis has the ability to get materials cheaply. Maybe it's a gift that really helps with ultra low-cost construction. Let's return to the extruded polystyrene foam house. I hope it's already warm there. And of course, we couldn't come to visit empty-handed. We brought some Belarusian treats with us. Dennis said that they already have Pepsi and Coca-Cola here, but it's not local, so it's very expensive. Now my friend can try affordable Belarusian cola, but we couldn't surprise him with Belarusian cheese, sausages, beer, or strong drinks. It turned out that almost all of this is sold in St. Petersburg. Next time, we'll bring products from lesser-known Belarusian brands. There are many, and they're as good as the popular ones.
Which cheese should I cut?
Yeah, that one right there.
They're both Belarusian.
That's right. Good answer. Honestly, I think Dennis is Belarusian. He just doesn't know it yet.
We have Breslitovskaya, by the way. Here it is. We have all of this. Breslitovskaya, what a surprise. Breslitovskaya.
Belarusian mozzarella, by the way. There are a lot of factories making it. You could name at least 3. Brest Ice Cream Factory, something like that.
Really? Yeah, their mozzarella is awesome. I used it for pizza. And their suluguni is great too. They come in similar packaging, but they taste different.
Basically, I recognize them by the pictures, but not by the names. But I remembered this one because, well, resonance, well, not resonance, but dissonance. Man, an ice cream factory makes cars. No, well, cheese. How is that possible?
That's how we do things here. They built a nearby workshop, similar to how Avdovaz assembled Mercedes cars. Assembly of components. They just repaired the neighboring workshop. That's it. Assembly of components.
Dennis, how did you mount these shelves to the walls? Many people are asking how you can secure things to these walls. Those walls are considered weak. Supposedly they can't hold much, but actually they can handle quite a lot. But these particular shelves, I see a lot of stuff on them. Inoplex, Technoplex, there's a lot of junk stored here.
No, these are store shelves. They're heavy duty. They stand on the floor. They're not like that.
Well, I mean, you can solve the problem, right? If the walls can't support something somewhere.
I also wanted to try, cutting out the mesh, like cutting it along the outline, making a shelf, basically gluing it in there with glue and then loading it up so that it actually hangs, not stands, but hangs.
Just the mesh, that thin plaster layer, right?
Yeah, remove the plaster layer and mesh, and then make a shelf, or rather a cabinet, out of extruded polystyrene foam, you could say, and glue it in there. See how it goes. Load it with items like canisters, primer, and stones.
What's stopping you from making it out of wood?
I'm like, what's his name? The one who protects trees, an environmentalist.
Soon it got really warm, we warmed up, and Dennis continued sharing his plans for the future and various building tricks. Dennis, originally you planned to make a workshop here as far as we remember, but now you're saying it will be something residential.
Yes, this year will be a workshop again. Most likely next year it will turn more or less into a house.
So you mean an actual house?
Yes, I mean a guest house, or it might become a house. Why? Because with every new building on the lot, the workshop will get farther away from the residential houses. Because there will still be milling machines working here, there will be machines running. Of course, in the end, it will still be a house. I'm already working on the screed. There will be a screed here too. Expanded clay mixed with cement.
So you're going to add a screed here?
Yes, of course. There will be a screed here. To avoid pouring pure concrete, I'll use large fraction expanded clay. Mix it all and put it on the cushion. There may be underfloor heating, so I want to move all the working elements as far away as possible in that direction.
So, will you be working there?
So that it's between me and the neighbor, because I also plan to make a room where I'll be working with stones. So these stones that are scattered around, these huge boulders, these boulders will be turned into sinks.
So, you're planning to live forever, am I right?
Of course.
Life is just beginning.
Just try sleeping only 3 hours a day, and then you'll have enough time for everything.
I don't sleep during the day at all.
Doctors told me to sleep 8 hours during the day and get the same at night. I'm the kind of person that if I buy something, I'll use it until the very end, until it dies. When this old thing dies, I'll take a metal barrel, cut it up, and attach half of the barrel to it.
How much time has passed since we started the stove?
50 minutes. 50 minutes. We started at 16:45 or maybe 15:45. Everything is completely dry.
And it's warm. No condensation, no moisture. The house was just sitting here. How long since you were last here?
We left on December 20th.
So that was before New Year's, right? The house has been standing here since last year without being heated, and now we've come and started heating it. Please, everything is fine with you.
Bro, the house is overdue since last year.
We need to build a new one. Next, well, beautiful.
Wait, if you're driving, then you're the boss.
In the upcoming construction season, Dennis plans to cut through the walls and install windows. The frameless technology used should make it possible to do this almost anywhere. Dennis, your YouTube channel has become quite well known. How many subscribers did you have when you started it?
2.
0. When was that? How many months ago?
When was that?
When did the video come out? November or December? Yeah, his first video was released in December, a couple of months ago.
December 1st, I think?
So that was 2.5 months ago, right? How many subscribers do you have now?
Recently, it was exactly 5,500. There's a lot of interest. A lot of people are writing, saying that some are going to build an extension to their house, some are going to build a garage, and some are planning even bigger projects. Someone is currently building, I think, 90 meters long and 5 meters wide, or maybe 40 meters, I don't remember.
No, that's probably 9 rooms.
Yes, here are 9 rooms, and this person writes to me that he wants to build 10 houses at once, like the ones I made. I immediately explained to them that this experiment is raw. I mean, it's really raw. If they are going to copy me, I don't want to take responsibility for the fact that they are repeating what I did. If they change something, do something their own way. If something goes wrong, please go ahead and repeat it. But then, no complaints to me. I don't want to take responsibility for that. I did this for myself and experimented. How other people will experiment, that's their own experiment.
But you're doing this at your own risk.
Yes, it's all my personal thing. That's why I took the cheapest materials. I deliberately bought the cheapest materials to see how it would work. The cheapest materials. Of course, they can use expensive materials, expensive mesh, expensive adhesives. I showed the cheapest range because I always try to do it cheaply first. To the house, to the first one, to our house. How many meters is it? Probably about 10.
No more.
About 15 meters, yeah. When I worked here and turned the speaker up to full volume, it's pretty tall. So Ira was in the house watching her videos, you know, just watching random stuff.
Yeah, she's always watching all sorts of random stuff.
So she didn't hear the music playing here. Even though it's just 15 meters away, you can't hear it inside the house. I have snow lying like this, the board doesn't bend, so everything's fine. If the board bends, then you need to figure something out, support it.
If the board sticks up, just add more snow, right?
That means you bought a crooked board if it's sticking up.
Dennis, look, there's snow up to your knees here, right now, outside, but on the roof there's hardly any snow.
Why?
The answer is simple. Go and film the first house. There's no snow on it either, because there was a thaw and it all slid off. Why? There's 20 centimeters of snow lying here in front of the doorstep. Look, right here. It slid off the roof, fell, and is now lying here, packed down.
So, on the roof there was a lot of snow?
There was, but how should I put it? I wasn't here. There was snow, but I wasn't here.
Were you a little worried that you might come back and the roof had collapsed?
Actually, I wasn't worried because I'm pretty laid back. No, because with neighbors, like I said before, you have to be friends. Our neighbor is always in touch with us, and the other neighbors are always in touch too. And we were constantly texting. Well, there was anxiety. Yes, there was anxiety. So a couple of us were texting.
Texting us in, go clear the snow.
No, just use the scope as usual.
Yeah, like, how's our roof? Is everything okay? Is everything still standing? So everything's fine. There were worries because why were there worries? Again, as I said earlier, I made the roof, I made the rafter system incorrectly. Why incorrectly? I didn't have enough time and was worried it might collapse or burst. But in the end, again, take the post that sank into the ground by a couple of centimeters, meaning there were loads.
It's less than a couple of centimeters, it's a maximum of 1 centimeter.
Well, about 1 or 1.5 centimeters.
And that's only because of the weak screed, that's right.
Yes, maybe because of the weak screed. That is, there will always be worries. No matter what you do, no matter what you build, there will always be worries. So, the garden beds I made, I also worried that the soil would push them apart. But when I flooded them with water right up to the edges to soak the soil, I saw that the extruded polystyrene foam holds up. How long is it? My garden bed is 6 meters long and 45 centimeters high. Calculate the cubic meters of soil inside. Everything is holding up.
Our extruded polystyrene foam brotherhood lives in harmony. A friend in the city got a lot of alkali-resistant plaster fiberglass mesh, American-made, for new projects for next to nothing, using his NEVA. Perhaps due to the cooling of relations between the countries, builders in St. Petersburg no longer want to use it. Dennis shared the mesh with us for free. We're home builders from Belarus, also a thrifty people. Imported stuff is fine for us. The main thing is that it's free. Soon we'll check if it's really strong, and if it can compete with our Belarusian and friendly Chinese mesh. I'll leave a link to the first video about this house below. Give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel Songs of Yasha Kosyak, and also subscribe to Dennis's channel, which is called Dennis's Summer House Diaries.
He explains all the details of this construction experiment in depth.
Subscribe to Konstantin's Batina Usadba channel. By the way, a new video has just been released there in which my friend shares his own perspective on what's happening. Subscribe to my Zen, TikTok and Instagram, which isn't banned in Belarus. All links are below the video. Hit the bell so I can keep you updated. Yes, let there be peace all over the world. Thank you.
And still crooked.
We won't get buried here like the Diablo Pass, right?
Yeah, of course. If anything happens, they'll find us. The foam board keeps the heat in, so we'll be well preserved.